Hi, and welcome to New, Old, and Songs Untold. I'm your host, Anna. I'm here with Nick. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's great. Today we'll be talking about female country star Miranda Lambert. Before we get into our top 10, let's hear the history of the artist.
All right. And also today, before we get into that, is we're going to welcome a new guest, per se. We will finally be having our YouTube up. Hopefully by now it will be up and you'll be watching us. You can watch us now, so welcome all the YouTube viewers.
Yeah, it's weird having a camera.
It is. So yeah, that'll be up on YouTube hopefully Wednesday when this goes up for the audio.
Yep.
So let's get into the history. Miranda Lambert was born November 10th, 1983 to Rick and Bev Lambert in Longview, Texas, and was raised in Lindale, Texas. She was named after her great-great-grandmother, Lucy Miranda, and she has one younger brother. She's Irish and Native American ancestry.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I, actually.
It's interesting.
Her parents met while Bev was attending camp at the Southern Methodist University, and Rick was a on-campus undercover narcotics officer.
What?
And they got together a few years later. Rick is a former Dallas police officer who played in a country rock group called Contraband, I can't read, in the 1970s. Rick and Bev later became private detectives and even worked on high-profile cases of the impeachment of President Bill Clinton. And after the oil crisis dampened the economy in Texas, her family lost everything.
That is the wildest story I've ever heard.
That paragraph is crazy. After the downturn, things got better for her and her parents, and parents began a faith-based ministry and offered their home as a shelter for victims for domestic violence and their children.
I did read that somewhere. I heard that.
Miranda has said that this experience fueled her music and that her song Gunpowder and Lead is a reflection of that, which makes sense. We'll talk about that song later.
I have that on my list, so we'll definitely talk about it.
While in school, Lambert made her professional singing debut with the Texas Pride Band. She also fronted the house band at a Rio Palm Isles in Longview, Texas, a long-running venue that has presented legends such as Elvis Presley and Willie Nelson, and the place where Brooke and Dunn started out as a house band. She started out in the early 2001. In early 2001. No, she started out in early 2001, where she released her self-titled debut album independently. In 2003, she finished in third place on the television program Nashville Star.
Which I didn't know that A, that was a singing competition, or B, that she was on there.
Yeah, I didn't know that was actually a singing competition.
I didn't either.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard it before.
Well, here we go. It was a singing competition which aired on the USA Network. Outside her solo career, she's a member of the Pistol Annies, formed in 2011 alongside Ashley Monroe and Angelina Presley. Lambert has been honored by the Grammy Awards and the Academy of Country Music Awards and the Country Music Association Awards. Lambert has been honored with more Academy of Country Music Awards than any artist in history. Sorry, their award names are just...
They all sound the same.
They all sound the same.
It's like country music this, country music that.
Her second album and major label debut, Kerosene, came out in 2005, was certified platinum in the United States, and produced singles Me and Charlie Talkin', Bringing Me Down, and Kerosene, and New Strings. All four singles reached the top 40 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs. Her second album, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, was released in early 2007. Three of its singles, Famous in a Small Town, Gunpowder and Lead, and More Like Her, peaked within the top 20 on the country songs chart, with Gunpowder and Lead becoming her first top 10 entry in July 2008. Her third album, Revolution, was released in September 2009. Two of its songs, The House That Built Me and A Heart Like Mine, topped the Hot Country Songs chart. 2011's for the record included singles.
Which is her fourth album, if you couldn't figure out from the wordplay.
Included singles Baggage Claim, Over You, Fastest Girl in Town, Mama's Broken Heart, and All Kinds of Kind. By the way, that's a stacked... A lot of her albums are just stacked. We'll get into it. We'll get into it later. But Lambert released her fifth album, Platinum, in 2014. The record won the Grammy Award for Best Country Album, and the album's lead single, Automatic, reached the top 10 in the country charts. Her sixth studio album, The Weight of These Wings, was released on November 18th, 2016, and
Can you say that word?
I can't, so I'm just going to skip it. And
Subsequently.
was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, or the RIAA. Which you see in a lot of, like, that's what...
they do, yeah.
That's who certifies things being... That's like when they're, like, in, like,
Like
the Country Music Hall of Fame, or they'll
wise.
have, like, the album, and it would be, like, an RIAA.
Yeah.
If you guys have ever
if
been
it's, like,
to
certified gold or something like that.
Yeah, if you've ever been to the Country Music Hall of Fame, they have all the, like, certified, like, different records. And
yeah, there's, like, a bunch of them.
Her seventh studio album, Wildcard, was released on November 1st, 2019. In 2006, Lambert began dating singer Blake Shelton. They got engaged in May 2010 and were married on May 14, 2011 at the Don Strange Ranch in Bonaire? Bonaire? I don't know. Sorry if you're from this place in Texas.
Oh gosh, I have no idea what that is.
I don't know how to pronounce the city. On July 20th, 2015, the couple announced that they were getting divorced after 4 years of marriage. Lambert has 9 tattoos of various objects and symbols and the word tumbleweed. In June 2019, she added a tattoo on her forearm for her marriage to
her now husband. McLaughlin.
McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Actually, didn't they get divorced again?
I have no idea. I feel like she's kind of been through the ringer with some of her relationships. No, I think they're still together.
Oh, that was a different guy. Sorry,
yeah,
that was a different guy.
This guy is a New York City police officer.
That's right.
Just kind of interesting.
That is
I wonder how
interesting.
they met.
Wow. In April 2018, Lambert won the ACM Award for Female Vocalist of the Year for the 9th consecutive year.
Oh my goodness.
Surpassing Reba McEntire as the most awarded in that category in 2017. In November 2015, she became the first woman to have won the Country Music Association Awards, Album of the Year twice, and she won 2 Grammy Awards out of 18 nominations.
She's got a lot of awards.
Well, that's pretty crazy.
Decent amount of awards.
That's pretty crazy.
Alright, so going to this episode, what were your kind of initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were I knew like her really popular songs, but as I learned, I knew more than I thought, and I definitely was like I've never listened to a whole album of hers. I've only heard her like on the radio and through like friends who like country music, and never really dove.
I feel like a lot of our friends like country music. So.
Yeah, and I've definitely heard a lot of Miranda, and I definitely like the songs I've heard. Especially for like the newer country, I would say she's up there as like some of the better.
Yeah, because some of the newer country is not great.
I have a good comparison, which we'll get to, I think, on the afterthoughts. I have a good comparison. But I guess what did you kind of think going into this?
Yeah, so I didn't think I really... So I knew, like, the hits kind of, obviously, because I used to be actually really into country music.
Okay, yeah.
In, like, middle school. But I didn't... Listening to For the Record, I didn't realize I actually owned that album.
Really?
Yeah, I have the CD of it, so I knew every song. I was
funny.
like, wait, what?
That's actually really funny.
I somehow completely forgot that I actually owned that album.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, so I was actually... I liked her a lot more than I thought I was going to, because I was familiar with a lot of her stuff, and I was surprised by a lot of her stuff, but we can talk about that in like the afterthoughts.
Yep.
So should we go to our
Yes, we can.
Top
10. Should we start with the Spotify?
No.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
You got me, because I've messed up that order sometimes.
We've done the same order for like at least the last.
I know,
10.
but there's like sometimes I'll mess up the order and you like cut and be like, "What are you talking about?" All right.
No, I'm just trying to. I'm just being a jokester.
All right,
over
number
here.
10 on the Spotify is "It All Comes Out in the Wash" with 22 million plays off of her newest, I think, album.
Yeah,
Wild
that came out in 2019, I believe.
19, yes. All right, what is your number 10?
My number 10 is "White Liar," and that's off of Revolution. She wrote this song along with Natalie Hemby, which she's written a decent amount of songs with. She kind of usually has like
she co-writes all her songs.
She co-writes a decent amount, yeah. So there's
all
always
the ones
like a
I picked
few
anyways.
people who are writing.
Yep.
I saw there was some that she like didn't exactly write, but yeah, and it's just kind of about a woman confronting her man for cheating, and she like calls him a white liar for deceiving her, but then admits in the song's bridge that she was telling lies to him also. So it's kind of like a double betrayal.
Yeah. And
the song peaked at number 38 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs in 2009. And I feel like this is just one of her like classic songs.
It is.
Like I instantly knew this when I haven't heard this song in years. Yeah. But it just has such a like classic country sound. It was kind of before newer country went in different directions. Yeah. So it was that time where it was just like really good like country music being made. So yeah, it's just the sound and the beat is just very like classic country to me. So that is "White Liar" for my number 10.
My number 10 is "Tin Man" off of "The Weight of These Wings," which came out in 2016. It was written by John Randall and Jack Ingram, along with Lambert. She says that Tin Man is a bit of a tribute to Kenny Chesney's like Tin Man. He has a song of the same title.
Oh, does he?
And it's her favorite like Kenny Chesney song,
oh,
apparently.
Okay.
So the song, she says the song kind of wrote itself. I was a little worried about it at first, about writing it like another song, but that I told Kenny that I felt the same emotion I felt when I hear the song. So I thought that was very interesting. That was kind of inspired by another country song of the same title. The song is about... Oh, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, not that every country artist, like, knows each other, but it feels like every country artist knows each other. Like, just reading some of the people that she's interacted with, it's like, do you just, like, know every, like, star in country music?
To be fair, I don't think Kenny Chesney writes any of his music.
No, I don't think he does.
I mean...
But, like I was just saying, like, the community of, like, country music just seems so much, like, more connected.
I would agree. So, the song itself is the singer... is basically a recent victim of a broken heart and warns how painful the emotions can be and wants to trade places with the Tin Man so she can be like shelled.
And not have a heart.
Not have the heart.
What a classic.
Little Wizard Oz there.
Yeah. I love a good Wizard Oz reference.
This whole album is my favorite album by hers.
Okay.
But I like it for
that
a lot.
That one was really long, wasn't it?
It is. It's the double side 24 song. But it's very... it's a slower kind of country. It's more like, I think, emotional. A lot of the songs, they sound more emotional. The beat's more emotional. And this is a very in tune with what the whole album is. And I think it was one of the more popular ones, I would say, on that album. It was a very enjoyable song. So that was Tin Man for my number 10. All right, number 9 for Spotify.
Number 9
is Kerosene. Off of Kerosene with...
I'm sorry, is it Kerosene?
Leviosa.
Yeah,
with
basically.
28 million plays. That was Kerosene. What is your... just throwing stuff all over the place.
Yeah, see, now they'll be able to see when you hit stuff all the time.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is Highway Vagabond off of the same album you were just talking about, The Weight of These Wings. I think it's like the second song on that album. And in it, she's basically comparing the life of a traveling musician to that of like a drifter, and just like the feeling of having a restless spirit. And it just has such a unique sound to it. I was kind of really shocked when I heard it. It has like a really cool guitar sound, and it almost sounds like much more like rock inspired.
Yep.
I don't know, it just sounds so different than a lot of the country that's being made.
That's like her... Did you have any other on this album on your list? Or no?
I don't believe so.
But
no.
I think this whole album is very different, and I think that's why I like it.
It's like it still has a really catchy melody,
it does.
But it just has like more of like a gritty feel to it. And it honestly is very atmospheric. Like, it makes you feel like you're just kind of drifting through the plains, like driving down a road. It's a really cool song. So that is Highway Vagabond for my number 9.
All right, my number 9 is Mama's Broken Heart off of For the Record.
Oh, what a classic.
Came out in 2011, written by Brandy Clark, Shane
McAnally?
Yes,
Sure.
and Casey Musgrave, and also her, I believe. I believe she co-writes all her songs.
All of them? Okay.
I believe.
I couldn't tell if like
I
she
couldn't
had
tell
written
this
any
one.
of the. I don't think she did
This
write
one.
this one.
Maybe not this one.
I have some more story about it, but
Okay,
I
perfect.
can say that one.
I kind of figured you would have this one on your top 10.
I do.
It peaked at number 20 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, and I love it because it's like it's an upbeat, fun song, but it's also very violent.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's obviously about
That's kind of her like sweet spot.
Yeah, like being like very upbeat, almost sounding like it's catchy and fun, but then like
but it's like,
pounding.
There's just like this driving anger behind some
of
her songs.
Yep, and you will probably get into it a little more.
Yeah, I have some more like background information for that song.
So that was my number 9 with Mama's Broken Heart. We are on to number 8.
Number 8.
Number 8 for Spotify is Gunpowder and Lead with 36 million plays off of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I thought that'd be higher.
So did I.
Huh.
What was your number 8?
My number 8 is Smokin' and Drinkin', and that was off of her album Platinum. So this was written by Luke Laird, Shane McAnally, and Natalie Hemby, like most of her songs. She's kind of got like this go-to team of songwriters. And if it actually is featuring Little Big Town. I don't know if it's the whole band or if it's just Karen Fairchild. I'm not sure. But yeah, they have credit Little Big Town in the featuring. So, and she there's kind of this story where she, I think the Karen Fairchild said like Miranda Lambert had a song that she really liked that she wanted to like also record. So, Lambert was kind of like joking around. It was like, oh, if I like, record it, do you want to sing on it? And it was like at like an awards show. She was just like joking to her, but then she ended, Little Big Town ended up actually singing on it, which I thought was kind of funny. And it just is kind of about the sense of like the good old days and the nostalgia associated with it. And it has, once again, it's kind of more of a unique sounding country song to me. It kind of has like a cool bass line, and the vocals sound really unique because they're kind of like meshed together.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool, and it's very like calming almost, which is obviously in contrast to some of her other more like angry upbeat songs. But yeah, that's Smokin' and Drinkin' for my number 8.
All right. My number 8 is Heart Like Mine off of Revolution, 2009 it came out. She co-wrote the song with Ashley Moore and Travis Howard. It peaked at number 44 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. It's a upbeat country backed with primary like electric guitar, banjo, and steel guitar. I think this is a very like kind of unique sounding song.
Yeah.
It kind of the narrator describes it being a little being rough around the edges, and however she ignores the criticism of her like family and peers, and stated that Jesus would understand a heart like hers.
Yeah.
So like it's the idea of being like different and unique and doing your own thing, especially in I think where she like grows up in like I think like smaller country towns have this kind of or I would say like the expectations of being who you're going to be through your family. You're going to be this person, grow up to be this, and I think this song kind of represents the idea of her being her own person and doing what she wants and kind of thing, and breaking the expectations. Okay. Yeah, and that being like totally fine.
Yeah.
So,
which is a theme in a lot of different songs by her. Kind of this like self-acceptance.
Yep. And it's really, this one's I think this one's also a classic.
I don't think I'd heard that one before.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just missed it.
Maybe I've just heard more Miranda Lambert than I thought.
Probably.
So that was my number 8, Heart Like Mine. All right, on to number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7 for the Spotify is Automatic with 41 million plays off of Platinum.
I really liked that song. I wanted it on my list, but didn't quite make it.
Ooh, that's on mine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What is your number 7?
My number 7 is Only Prettier, and that's off of Revolution. So this was written by Lambert and also Natalie Hemby, and it is kind of more of like a driving, like country punk song almost. It starts off like a really like charming country song, and then really like picks up speed as it goes in, and it's just she kind of just goes off and like lists the ways that like Southern girls can be like superior, like that how they have certain characteristics that are like cool to her, and I just love the more like rocking sound, and she has this whole like era of like confidence to her vocals, and I just love how just like completely outspoken and like she is, she's just like who she is, and she's not really afraid to say that. So so that's Only Prettier for my number 7.
All right, my number 7 is White Liar off of Revolution 2009. You already had this on your list, right?
Yep, that was my number 10.
Yeah, so you kind of talked about it basically already. And like you said, the female narrator in the song is describing her confronting her man for cheating, whom she kind of refers to as being a white liar for deceiving her. And that's kind of, the term white lie.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those songs that is like, I think, quintessentially like Miranda Lambert.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just starts going and gets in your head, and it's very catchy and
it is catchy.
absolutely fantastic. So that was White Liar for my number 7. All right, number 6.
Number 6 for Spotify
is Bluebird with 51 million plays, and that's off her new album Wildcard, or 2019 album, I should say. Which that song wasn't too bad.
It was like okay.
It was okay. I was kind of shocked to see it up there.
Yeah, it might be just because of recency.
It could be. What was your number 6?
My number 6 is Look at Miss Ohio from For the Record. And this was written by Jillian Welsh and Dave Rawlings. And it was apparently originally recorded by a bluegrass singer-songwriter I don't know. Oh, I didn't write down which one.
Oh, so it was a bluegrass singer-songwriter.
In 2003, so it wasn't that long ago.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't know who that was. But the song's protagonist basically explains like she wants to do right, but not right now, and she wants to kind of like live her own life and make her own mistakes before like settling down in her life. And I honestly just love the sound of this song. It's kind of more like softer tone and like a sadder sound, which I like. She does do a decent amount, but this one just like stood out to me. And it's on For the Record, which I actually listened to quite a bit. So this kind of brought me back to like the time when I listened to this, and it was one that I liked back then. I still loved it now. So that is Look at Miss Ohio for my number 6.
All right, my number 6 is Automatic, off of Platinum, 2014 it came out. She co-wrote the song with Nicole Galen and Natalie Humby. It was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards for Best Country Solo Performance and Best Country Song. And it peaked at number 35 on the Billboard US Hot 100. This song it's basically about her just reminiscing about kind of like what she imagined, like the good old days, kind of
basically simpler
times. But I think that's why I like it so much. It's such a nostalgic sounding song.
Yeah.
To it talking about being nostalgic,
and I don't know if like the narration is actually about her life, but it feels very real. Like,
it does.
Feels like she's just telling the story of her life and kind of like how she wishes she could go back into
like how she used to go do those things that she says in the song.
Yeah.
So it's a very real sounding song, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much, because and it's also like very soft. It's a softer but upbeat song for her, which there's not like normally her upbeat songs are very kind of like, I don't want to say violent, but intense.
In your face.
This one's like upbeat and like upbeat sounding, but it's also like softer tone.
It's more like like happier.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Angry.
So that's all I got to say about that. So that's Automatic for my number 6.
Awesome.
So we are on to number 5 for Spotify. Is Vice off of The Weight of These Wings with 53 million plays.
I liked that one. I almost put it on my list as well. Kind of has an interesting sound.
What was your number 5?
My number 5 is Gunpowder and Lead.
Ooh, good song.
Classic. That was from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And in this song, the narrator is sitting by the door one night with a gun and waiting for basically her abusive man to come home from jail. And she says that she was inspired by the abused women who, like we said in the history, who would her family who would take in. And there was one particular woman who came in crying with a black eye one time, and that's what kind of inspired this song. That she wanted to write it from like their perspective. And it was co-written with Heather Little. It reached number 7 on the Hot Country Songs chart, becoming her first top 10 on that chart. And it's honestly just a classic raging Miranda Lambert song. I feel like when I think about Miranda Lambert, this is like one of the songs that I for sure think about.
I completely agree.
Yeah, so that is Gunpowder and Lead for my number 5.
All right, my number 5 is Over You off of For the Record, came out in 2011. It peaked at number 25 on the Billboard Hot 100. Over You is kind of a country ballad written by Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton about a personal experience that Blake Shelton had when he was a teenager when his older brother was killed in a car accident.
Why didn't he record this?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
So, according to Lambert, she decided to record the song because of Shelton's emotional connection, and she quoted saying that Blake said he couldn't record it for herself or sing it on stage every night, and it would be an honor for her to do it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was too much for him.
So the song's about basically him losing his brother, and he couldn't muster. Basically, he co-wrote it, and he couldn't think he could perform it without kind of breaking out.
But they still wanted to
and it's such a beautiful song. It really is, and I think it definitely deserves a top 5 for just how it's written and kind of the message of the song. I didn't even know it was about. I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah,
about.
I didn't know the background of that song.
I just assumed like every country song, it's about a boy and a girl or something. So to find out like the other story about it was actually really kind of
I feel like it adds a little bit of different meaning to the song.
It does, because lyrically wise, it just says over you, not specifying like what or what
the relationship was.
Yeah, didn't say what experiences were causing that. So so that was Over You for my number 5. So we are on to number 4. Number 4 for the Spotify is Tin Man with 58 million plays off of The Weight of These Wings. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is Mama's Broken Heart off of For the Record. So you talked about this one a little bit. Kind of some of the background I found is interesting. So this is the one that Casey Musgraves also kind of wrote. And apparently, like, Miranda Lambert wasn't really supposed to be, like, pitched this song. I think someone else was going to record it, or Casey Musgraves was going to record it herself. But they were actually at her wedding, with Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert's wedding. And Casey Musgraves was there at the rehearsal dinner. And she kind of just went over and asked her, like, are you going to record this song or can I have it? And she was like, oh, I'll think about it for a couple of days. But then eventually she's like, yeah, sure, you can record it. And then like Casey Musgraves wanted to like sing backup on it. So she's actually singing, there's some backup on there that's Casey Musgraves, which I didn't know at all. And yeah, it's kind of interesting that she wasn't really supposed to record it, and it was actually written for a decent amount of time before she actually recorded it. And I just love the opening lines. Like, it just immediately grabs you. I cut my bangs with some rusty kitchen scissors. Like, you hear that and it's like, oh, like, it's so intense. And it just shows like how unhinged like the narrator is, and it kind of feels like very like almost mysterious and, like I said, more angry. But yeah, it's such a great song.
Really
and that is Mama's Broken Heart for my number 4.
All right, my number 4 is off her debut, or her first album, I believe. That was Kerosene.
Yes.
So my song is Kerosene off of said album, 2005. It was written by her and Steve Earle. So this is interesting. I did find this interesting. Why I put this in there. Although Lambert is technically the sole writer of the song, she gave co-writers credit to alt country singer Steve Earle, after others noted a similarity to the song I Feel We're All Right.
So he didn't really write it, but it was just kind of credited?
Yeah, because she stated in an interview that she had inadvertently duplicated the melody and structure, saying, I didn't purposely plagiarize the song, but unconsciously I copied it almost exactly. I guess I'd listened to it so much that I kind of just had it in there.
That's so funny.
So I thought that was kind of crazy. I know, right? Like, I thought that was kind of crazy. It's such an up-tempo song that's backed with like electric guitar and a harmonica, and it's about the narrator who's been cheated on by her boyfriend and expresses her being through with like love in general, saying like I'm giving up on love because love's giving up on me, and I think that's such a classic line in this song where Miranda Lambert. This is like I think a very early but classic Miranda Lambert song. And yeah, just going on with that theme, instead of lining up easy, she takes revenge by burning down his house after soaking kerosene fuel to ease the pain. So it's a very like angry song, as we kind of said, but I think it's very well done, and I think she shows how much she can kind of sing these kind of songs and how well they can be.
It kind of like sets up her whole style of that kind of song, I feel like.
And so that was Kerosene for my number 4.
Awesome.
So we are on to number 3.
Yes.
For Spotify is The House That Built Me, off of Revolution, 72 million plays. So what is your number 3?
My number 3 is All Kinds of Kinds, and that is off of For the Record, once again. So in this song, she kind of just celebrates like the diversity of humanity, and it's kind of more like a almost bluegrass inspired song. It just like she said that about the song. There's a quote that is such a different song to me. I heard this and I don't know, it just identified with me immediately. So she heard it and she like automatically felt like, because like we talked about the whole like theme of self-acceptance and just kind of being who you are, and she added that she found her niche. I found my spot in country music, and everyone's uplifted me, though that and winning awards and having hits, but I still feel like I'm a little bit different, and I'm glad for that. So like she's talking about like in the context of like the country music industry, she still feels like she's kind of a little bit different than the norm, which I would totally agree, because she does kind of have her own unique style.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and I love the statement that the song makes, and kind of the sentiment that people's differences are what makes, them better, and I mean it's such a catchy song too. Yeah. This was one of the singles off of that one of the like 5 singles off of For the Record.
I know, right?
But yeah, so that's All Kinds of Kinds for my number 3.
My number 3 is Gunpowder and Lead off of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, 2007. It came out, and you kind of said everything that needs to be said about the song. We kind of already talked about it. I love the, like we kind of keep talking about the kind of violent kind of way to the song, and I think the message of the song is, or not the message, is say how she wrote it is very interesting, especially with the background, and it makes for a very good, powerful song. Yeah,
it's definitely like angry but also empowering at the same time.
I would agree. So that was Gunpowder and Lead for my number 3. On to number 2.
Number 2
on Spotify is Something Bad, off of Platinum with 78 million plays. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is The House That Built Me from Revolution. So this one, it reflects on kind of the home that she grew up in and how it helped shape her into the person she is today. And this is the first country number 1 for her. I have a quote from her saying that's another one of those songs where I think, dang it, why didn't I think of that? Everyone's had the comfortable home place, or maybe even a person that made you who you are, but you can't ever really go back to. So I don't think she wrote this one.
No, it's I didn't
write who.
I'll just cut in. So it's written by Tom Douglas and Alan.
Is this your number 2?
Yep. Okay. Well, it's going to be my number 1, but we can just talk about it real quick. Alan, I don't know how to say that last name. Shamlin. But so this song is basically about Alan Shamlin's based this song on experience when he went back to his house in Huffman, Texas, where he grew up.
Okay.
So it's kind of the feeling he got when he went back to his house. So he co-wrote the song. Yeah. So that's kind of what where that comes from.
Yeah. And it's just such like a heartfelt and emotional song. Like I hear it and almost every time I like want to cry, because it's just
it's so good.
It's like such a relatable concept. The whole meaning of it is like that's something everyone I feel like goes through, like the idea that you have this home that you live in for so long, and then like once you move out you can't really go back and experience it the same, or kind of live there again.
I mean, I completely agree, and I think why I put this number 1, which I guess we'll get to my number 2, but this is my number 1. But it's more or less because kind of living on my own for having my own house, number 3.
You experienced that a little bit.
And then going back, to say that my childhood house, my parents' house, and, you kind of, you get nostalgic a little bit every time you go back. So, yeah, I definitely get it.
Yep. It's a great song. So that is The House That Built Me for my number 2.
All right. Should we do the honorable mentions?
Sure.
Oh, actually, no. I got to do my number 2.
Nah.
Because my number 2 is Dear Old Son off of The Weight of Those Wings. Came out in 2016. This almost was my number 1. I had it for my number 1 like all day. This song, I don't know why I like it so much.
I honestly wasn't very memorable for me.
So this song is literally a ballad to the sun.
Okay.
Literally talking about how the sun comes up, does its thing, and goes down.
I mean, it's a different idea.
But it sounds like a Johnny Cash song. I think is why I like it so much, and that kind of tone, that like kind of the slow, soft tone throughout the whole song. But it has like, and granted, I couldn't find much on the song, so it could be you could probably break down the song and like the sun's a metaphor for something, but
yeah.
It's literally about the sun coming up, the sun shining on certain things, literally, and it's just such a peaceful song. So that was my number 2, Dear Old Son. All right, what are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions are 2 Rings Shy, Dry Town, Down, Runnin' Just in Case, and Something Bad, which is her song with Carrie Underwood.
Yep, that was number 2 on Spotify
very
list.
catchy, oh my goodness.
All right, my honorable mentions were Little Red Wagon, Fastest Girl in Town, which I really wanted to put on my
That's
top 10.
classic, yeah.
It is Only Prettier, Bluebird, and Fire Escape. All right, number 1 for the Spotify.
Number 1.
No surprise, actually, is Mama's Broken Heart with 85 million plays off of For the Record.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't think that would be number 1, but that's understandable.
All right, since I'll just say my number, I'll restate my number 1. Just say my number 1 was obviously The House That Built Me off of Revolution. We kind of just talked about it.
Yeah.
I guess don't really need to say much more.
All right.
To that. So what was your number 1?
My number 1 is Fine Tune off of For the Record. So I don't know. Do you remember this song?
I don't, but talk. I'm gonna look up where it is.
So at first she kind of hesitated to record this because it was kind of like a song that the songwriter Luke Lard and Natalie Hambridge, they wrote it, but they had it for like 7 years, and she says she finally got the courage to record it after passing on it for the last 2 albums before this. And she really wanted to sound kind of like grungy and dirty, but still cute and fun. It's basically like erotic longing song, but it uses the metaphor of a car.
Okay.
And the production that she settled on includes a lot of like electronic processing of her voice, which gives it kind of like a distorted sound.
I do remember this song.
As if she's like singing through like an old radio almost. It's just such a cool, like, I mainly like it because it sounds like so different. And the instrumentals, it almost sounds more like an indie rock kind of song, like something that like Liz Phair or someone would do. And I love the guitar, and the beginning guitar almost sounds like Janis Joplin to me. Like, it just has such a different sound than like country. It still has like country influences though. And I just love the whole vibe and style. It just sounds so cool. And it definitely stood out. That's one of the songs that I listened to like over and over again back in the day. But yeah, so that's Fine Tune for my number 1. You'll have to listen to it after if you don't remember.
I remember the song.
Do you? Okay.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No. So I wonder if it was just too different at the time.
Maybe.
I was probably in the.
Yeah, because it doesn't really sound too country.
I looked at my notes and I put a N for no, so I didn't even give it a
That's
maybe.
Hilarious.
So
yeah, I like that we actually disagree on a song.
Yeah, I like I said, we have to listen through the like hundreds or how many ever songs she has, 100 or something. So it could have been easily, but I think I didn't like it because it kind of sounded kind of off kilter. So to me,
see, and that's why I did like it. But that's fair.
All right, should I go through your list again?
The rundown.
Yep.
So my number 10 was White Liar. My number 9 is Highway Vagabond. My number 8 is Smoking and Drinking. My number 7 is Only Prettier. My number 6 is Look at Miss Ohio. My number 5 is Gunpowder and Lead. My number 4 is Mama's Broken Heart. My number 3 is All Kinds of Kinds. My number 2 is The House That Built Me. And my number 1 is Fine Tune.
Alright, my number 10 is Tin Man. My number 9 is Mama's Broken Heart. My number 8 is Heart Like Mine. My number 7 is White Lighter. My number 6 is Automatic. My number 5 is Over You. My number 4 is Kerosene. My number 3 is Gunpowder and Lead. My number 2 is Dear Old Son. And my number 1 is The House That Built Me.
Awesome.
So what were your thoughts after listening to her?
Yeah, I guess I you know, in terms of like newer country, I feel like she's definitely one of the better ones to me. I know we talked about that with like Eric Church too.
Yeah, I was gonna compare it a lot to, I don't want to say the female version of Eric Church, but
Yeah.
in a lot of ways they are very like similar in not necessarily how they sound, but how they're kind of unique in what the new age kind of country is.
Yes, and I liked her stuff a lot more. Like it's like it's different. It definitely sounds different than a lot of like the normal country. And for female artists, I mean, there's a lot of country female artists, but I feel like she kind of helped pave some of the way for like modern day female country artists. Like in that vein, I feel like she was really important.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of crazy how much I actually did enjoy, like how much I liked her. It was hard for me to make my list.
And I don't really like country music, like at all. I mean, I used to listen to it a little bit, but like was never like super into it. And I actually really enjoyed a lot of her stuff.
Like, did you have a favorite album? Is it the one you listened to?
For the Record was probably my favorite.
Like, 'cause I think The Weight of These Wings.
That one was pretty good too.
I think overall as a whole album, even though it was 24 songs, quite a long one.
Yeah.
But I think overall that album was the best one in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think there's ones that are like a bunch of them had a bunch of just singles after single that I didn't realize were all in the same album, which was kind of crazy. I know. I just looked over, so how I kind of rate them off, like if I like the song, it goes on a list and I rank the songs. So I put over 50 songs of hers saying I would like, yes, they could be on my top 15.
And I feel like part of her charm is like she does have those classic country twangs and like influences, but she also like took her music in like a different direction every so often, where she would kind of go a little more rock influenced, or she would, she would change it up. And like in terms of newer country music, I feel like a lot of it went like pop, but she like didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like she didn't like succumb to that trend, which I thought that made her stand out a lot. Awesome. Cool.
What up, bonus YouTube?
Hello, YouTube viewers.
This is our...
Get like a couple seconds extra.
This is our cut in between the...
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
I'm not too bad. I'm wearing long sleeves.
Oh, I am toasty.
Let's fix you have a sweatshirt on.
No, I guess I didn't dress for the weather in this room. That wraps up this episode on Miranda Lambert. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Songs Untold. The link will be in the description. If you enjoyed the podcast, let us know and comment on our post or give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Also, if there's a song we talked about that you'd like to hear for yourself, make sure to check out our new Old and Songs Untold podcast playlist on Spotify. Next week, check out our episode on MGMT that will be airing on Wednesday, and thank you for listening.
YouTube. How's it going? So this is our first YouTube episode of our podcast.
Yeah, you got to see our faces.
You got to see our faces. Yeah, let us know how we did down below in the comments. What you guys want to see more of, improvements that we can do for the
like
video.
Behind the scenes stuff. Not that it'll be that interesting.
No,
it'll just be us
really.
sitting here chatting about whatever. But
let us know in the comments what your guys' favorite Miranda Lambert song is.
Yeah.
Give us top 5 or something.
Yep. And you can recommend artists that you maybe want to hear in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll always look at that and take from your suggestions, basically.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and catch us on our next video.